में नागा नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नाम मानी उदिता हाय भक्ता गीता सामे नाम मानी उदिता हाय भक्ता गीता साने नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे आमी अधारा बारिश गाना श्रवण युग लगिया आमी अधारा बारिश गाना श्रवण युग लगिया भक्ता जाना संगने नाचे बोरिया पनाहिया नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे माधुरी पुरा आशव पाशी मातया गत गत जाने माधुरी पुरा आशव पाशी मातया जगत जाने के हुआ कांदे के हुआ नाचे के हो माते माने माने नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे पंचवदन नारदे थोड़ी प्रेमेरा संगन रो पंचवदन नारदे थोड़ी प्रेमेरा संगन रो कमलासन नाचिया बोले बोलो बोलो हरि बोल नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे सहस्रन परम सुखे हरि हरि बोली गाये सहस्रन परम सुखे हरि हरि बोली गाये नाम प्रभावे मति दो विश्वास नाम रस सावे पाया नाम प्रभावे मति दो विश्वास नाम रस सावे पाया नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे श्री कृष्ण नाम रसन स्फुरी पूरा लो अमर आशा श्री कृष्ण नाम रसन स्फुरी पूरा लो अमर आशा श्री रूप पदे आया छे इहा भक्ति विनोदा दासा श्री रूप पदे आचार्य इहा भक्ति विनोदा दासा नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे नारद मुनि बजाए वीणा राधिका रमन नामे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Vaishnava Thakur ki Jai. Thank you, everybody. So we can read the translation of the song. So I can read the first one, and then maybe someone else can follow. First stanza says, when the great soul Narad Muni plays his veena, the holy name Radhika Raman descends and immediately appears amidst the kirtan of Lord's devotees. Anybody else wants to read the second one?
Like a monsoon cloud, the holy name showers nectar in their ears. All the devotees, due to great ecstasy, repeatedly dance to their heart's content.
All the people of the universe become maddened upon entering this intoxicating shower of nectar. Some people cry, some dance, and others become fully intoxicated within their minds.
Lord Shiva, embracing Narad Muni, repeatedly makes loud screams of ecstatic joy, and Lord Brahma, dancing very ecstatically, says, all of you kindly chant Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
In great happiness, the thousand-faced Ananta Shesh chants Hari Hari. By the influence of the transcendental vibration of the holy name, the whole universe becomes ecstatically maddened, and everyone tastes the mellows of the holy name.
Thakur Bhakti Vinod, the humble servant of the Lord, says, the holy name of Krishna has fulfilled all my desires by vibrating on everyone's tongue. Bhakti Vinod therefore prays at the feet of Sri Rupa Goswami that the chanting of Harinam may continue like this always. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
We would like to thank Darpan Prabhu for singing that bhajan so nicely on the guitar. We'll take a couple minutes, 5 minutes or so. We'll just take any reflections that anybody has on this song, or any comments or questions or appreciations of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Prabhupada has given a purport to this, but does anybody have anything to say about this song?
It's a very sweet song, and it's again in the same manner in which His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, in embracing. And here, the most important thing here is about what we are going to discuss today about Sri Narad Muni. So that is how making it even more sweeter for us, because we're going to see how he actually sets the Bhagavatam into place by guiding the great the writer who has given us all along all this time. And makes it even more sweeter listening to something about Narad Muni,
Mm.
and that he carries the Veena, and which is very much characteristic of him. And we've got even Lord Shiva, the most supreme of the Vaishnavas, um, having this ecstatic joy in embracing Narad Muni, and enthusiasm is seen there. So yes, again, it is Bhakti Vinod Thakurji who sings in such a melodious way in how he's writing this, and he's also um, you know praying at the feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, who is our great guidance in what we follow Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's path. So yeah, that's my little extempo that I'm trying to think to offer our offerings at the feet of Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj.
Mm. Very nice reflection, Prabhu. Thank you for that. Does anybody else have any other reflection?
I was thinking in this song, even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, all people are dancing in ecstasy, and out of all the devotees, some people are crying and some people are like mad because of the holy name. So in this song, there's no doubt that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can give happiness to all the Vaishnavas, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma and all the devotees.
Mm. I was thinking in this last line, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that the holy name of Krishna has fulfilled all my desires by vibrating on everyone's tongue. It reminds me of that story of either I think it was Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami, when a person came up to him, and then he asked, you have some touchstone, you have some touch, like a touchstone is a stone that grants all desires, and then I think the Sanatana Goswami said, it's over there by the trash,
Yeah,
and then the dacoit was thinking, okay, if this guy has put it by the trash, then he must have, and he's so happy, he's putting it by the trash, then he must have something that's even more valuable. And then he says, yes, and then he asks him, what do you have that you're putting this touchstone by the trash? And then Sanatana Goswami says, I'll tell you, but you have to take this stone and you have to throw it in the river or the pond or the lake, and you're lost. So this guy takes the touchstone from the trash and he throws it into the river. Then Sanatana Goswami engages him, sit down here, chant Hare Krishna, and let's worship Tulsi, and let's do a devotional service. And like this, he was engaged, So in this story, it shows that all desires, all engagements culminate in the devotional service of Krishna. So I thought that's a story that came to my mind when I was reading this last line.
Thank you. That's for sharing. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Does anybody else have any other thoughts?
Yes, Prabhu. I was also thinking exactly at the same line. Yesterday we were having a discussion that we have so many desires, and here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that all the desires will be fulfilled. Now desires can be good desires, bad desires, and we have in this age all kinds of things in our mind. So we were discussing, and we were thinking that when we have bad desires, by chanting holy names, those desires completely go away. And when we have good desires, devotional desires, those desires amplify when we chant the holy name. And that just brings, it's like bringing light in the room of darkness. The darkness diminishes.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a part. It's just a coincidence. We were just discussing this yesterday at the temple.
Yeah, I was thinking about the kind of the same thing along the same lines on Gaur Purnima Day a couple of days ago, we were saying, why is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described as the sun, as the moon? He's not Gaura Surya, he's called Gaura Chandra. We were discussing that, and the aspects of that. I was talking to my friends, and the sun, it's just one, and it goes everywhere. But in Kali Yuga, it's completely dark, and there's one big moon. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, that what's the use of millions of stars when you can have one moon? In the saying that it's so bright, Gaur Chandra is so bright that he dispels all darkness in Kali Yuga. And I don't know if you saw especially in Ohio, the full moon on Gaur Purnima was so visible, and it was so nice to see. So
Yeah.
thank you for reminding me of that, Alec Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So we will pause our study of the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas for this week. We like to do this to have a good meditation before we start our study of the Amalupana Purana Srimad Bhagavatam. So this week's the Srimad Bhagavatam class will be given by His Grace Prasannatma Prabhu, all the way from Australia. It's
If you want to have the darshan, Prabhu, of
Oh yeah,
Radha Network,
we
please,
forgot.
yeah.
Let's take darshan real quick. Let me stop my.
So Jai Jai Shri Radha Network ki Jai.
Jai. Shri Radhanath Bhagavan ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Gaurnitai Bhagavan ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai ki Jai.
Ki Jai.
Shri
Giri
Giriraj
Govardhan.
Govardhan ki Jai.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
We should make this a tradition. Every week we should take darshan of the deities before we.
Yeah, sure.
Now that one's there. So as I was saying, this week's Srimad Bhagavatam class will be given by His Grace Prasannatma Prabhu, from all the way from Australia. And Prasannatma Prabhu was born in South India, in Chennai. And at an early age he realized there is more to life than just this just matter, but there's actually also spirit. So he started to question his mother about the Vedic scriptures and things on that in that stride. And along with his mother in Chennai, he visited he actually met Srila Prabhupada in 1972 when Prabhupada came to Chennai, but nothing really transpired further until later years when he was married to his wife, but Bhava Bhavani Devi Dasi, and he moved to Australia in 1992, and he has been associating with ISKCON since then. And he was part of the Radha Gopinath Silver Jubilee, and that many of the deities in Australia have long stories to them. Like Radha Gopinath was installed by Srila Prabhupada in 1971, and there's a famous video, if everybody wants to look, of Prabhupada doing Abhishek in Melbourne, it's called Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir. And Prabhupada's taking the little ladle, and he's so gingerly pouring the milk and everything on top of the deities. Wonderful video. And he was there for the silver jubilee of that. And after many years of devotional service like that, he was initiated by His Holiness Vedavyas Priya Swami Maharaj, who is a direct disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And he has been preaching in many countries like India, Singapore, Malaysia, United Kingdom, of course, Australia and the US. And that's how he met our dear Neil Prabhu in Las Vegas. And we have the good fortune, because we have the good fortune of knowing Neil Prabhu as well. And because we have the good fortune of knowing Neil Prabhu, we have the good fortune of knowing Prasannatma Prabhu as well. So it is now 8:05 in the morning. We will Prabhu will speak for 45 minutes to 1 hour on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text 32 to 36. And then we will have a small question answer. And we would like to request devotees to turn their camera on. It will be a great in-person experience as much as we can. And we will it would be a great experience. So Prabhu, we would like to request you to speak. You can take over from here. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabham Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabham Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Bhavaya Paramahamsa Parivicharaya Stottra Sutta Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Antakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kho Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Swasri Gaura Bhakti Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premananda, Hari Hari Bol, all glories to the assembled bodies. Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled bodies. Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled bodies. Hare Krishna, all glories to Guru and God. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Greetings to everyone from Sydney down under, which is in Australia. There could be some delay. I'm not very used to, saying everything myself and not hearing anything in the background because everything else is silent for me. And plus, it's about 11 o'clock at night here, so it's even more silent. So let me try to come up to speed with managing this. So we will be speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam on Canto 1, Chapter 5, and Slokas 32 to 36. I guess from what Hari had mentioned is we will take one of the shlokas and we will chant. I'm not sure if we can do that. Can we? We read out, or will you switch on the mics?
Yeah, if devotees would like to read the slokas, they can as well. After you have chanted it once, they can also try chanting it.
So we'll do that, and probably we'll just do the first shloka and then we'll do the translation for the rest of them. And probably we will speak on the first shloka itself because it's quite an important one by itself. Etat samchuchitam brahmam tapatraya shikshitam yat ishvare bhagavati karma brahmani bhavitam. Etat samchuchitam brahmam etat samchuchitam brahmam tapatraya shikshitam
Tapatraya chitiksitam
yat ishvare bhagavati
yad ishvare bhagavati
karma brahmani bhavitam.
karma brahma.
कर्म ब्रह्माणि भावितम्.
Does anyone else wants to read out?
Etat samsuchitam brahmams tapatraya
Samskritam Brahmams
tapatraya chitiksitam
Tapatraya Sikshitam
yad ishvare bhagavati
Yat Ishvare Bhagavati
karma brahmani bhavitam.
Karma Brahmani Bhavitam. Word to word, Etat, this much. Samshuchitam, decided by the learned. Brahman, O Brahmana Vyasa. I would say it's Brahman, okay? O Brahmana Vyasa. Tapatraya, three kinds of miseries. Sikiksitam, remedial measures. Yat, what? Ishvare, the supreme controller. Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead. Karma, one's prescribed activities. Brahmani, unto the great. Bhavitam, dedicated. Translation by His Divine Grace. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Brahmana Vyasadeva, it is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. It's a very long purport. So, what I would rather do is, as I read the purport, I will also try to describe a bit and um, go through the line by line of what Srila Prabhupada has said. Probably that will be more like a discussion we can have as to what Srila Prabhupada is saying too, and appreciate Srila Prabhupada's purport more deeply. Sri Narad Muni personally experienced that the most feasible and practical way to open the path of salvation and get relief from all miseries of life is to hear submissively the transcendental activities of the Lord from the right and bona fide sources. This is the only remedial process. The entire material existence is full of miseries. Foolish people have manufactured out of their tiny brains many remedial measures for removing the threefold miseries pertaining to the body and mind, pertaining to the natural disturbance, and in relation with other living beings. Now, it is clearly said in this shloka, Tapatraya, which means the three kinds of miseries. So we need to understand what these three kinds of miseries are. The miseries are ones that are caused by our own body and our mind. So when I say when we cause from our body, uh, we get fevers, we get pains, aches. The body gives a lot of trouble, and as you get older, even if you turn your head, it starts paining. The neck pains. If you stand up, it starts paining. If you sit down, it starts paining. So body gives a lot of problems. Most of you are young here, so you don't probably see that much. But if you go and probably play a game of cricket or something, and the ball comes and hits you, which we see happening very much in the games that we see in games like cricket. Naturally, the body aches even for a young person. that it becomes a factor of a mystery. Again, the mind also plays mystery. Mind is something that just varies all the time. It just is not stationary. It keeps wandering from place to place, from item to item, to many, many things, to the point that people think about something. People say, okay, I'm supposed to get a job, so let me go and do an interview. And so they go and give an interview. And when they come back from the interview, they start thinking, but did I do the right thing in the interview? Did I speak properly? Did I say the right things? Did I answer the questions that they asked me? And so the mind goes miserably from one end to the other end, that not only the body's pain, but the mind also pains in this way. So this is the misery that Srila Prabhupada talks about, cause pertaining to the body and mind. And then he says, pertaining to the natural disturbances, so there are so many miseries that are caused. Like recently in Australia, we had very severe floods in Queensland and also in New South Wales. People have lost even their homes. We could see real a full house floating in the river. And you wonder, but you think if your house was concrete, would it float? No, but many of these homes are made of wood. So even their floorboards are wood. So the entire house floats away. And there are sometimes people even stuck within these houses. And there are cars which go into these floods. And there have been fires. The previous year was a miserable fire that engulfed the entire Australia. Not only many, many people lost their lives and homes, many, many creatures also died because of the fire. So at that time, the last year when that was happening, I was sitting in Las Vegas, in our temple in Las Vegas. And at that time, I requested all the devotees there, can you please pray for Sydney? Because when devotees pray, Lord hears it. And he says, if the devotees are praying, they are almost giving a benefit to the other people, saying, we are praying and things will become fine. So when Lord hears this, he says, oh, my devotee has said this, everything will be fine, then I have to make it fine. This is how much the Lord loves his devotees. So naturally at that time, right after the prayer was done in Las Vegas, I heard in Sydney that the rain started coming and the fires are all stopped and the drought was gone. I mean, there was so much of drought. So many animals were dying. I mean, this is a country again which eats beef and meat and everything else. So many of these animals are actually kept to be slaughtered. And when a farmer feels sad, you don't really feel that sad. You don't think he has a right to do this. Because we do not want mother cow, wherever it is, whether mother cow is an Indian mother cow or an Australian mother cow or an American mother cow is mother cow, wherever she is. So, but for her not to have any fodder, not to have any water to drink, and the farmer just keeps quiet saying, I don't have anything to offer to the cow is going. But for him, mother cow is just another economic factor. But these are all miserable things that happen. So these are caused by natural causes. This is what Srila Prabhupada refers to as, God sent miseries. He says that there be this misery because of all the karma that you do. It happens. That so much of suffering happens. And all the suffering is caused by the people and the karma that they have created in this sort of in this kind of a sphere. And the other misery that he says is in relation to other living beings. So every now and then people deal with other people and those dealings go wrong. Sometimes we think before we do something very important, we will go to our altar and we will bow down and we will pray to Krishna and say, Krishna, please take care of us. So this is our request to you. Please take care of us. Oh, I'm going to do something like this, and only Krishna has to be. I mean, even though we're not supposed to be going to Krishna and asking for any material benefit, I would be foolish to think that we don't ever go to him and say and talk to him about all the miseries that we are going through and have some sort of help even to lead this prison life that we are leading. We are actually living in a prison. And in the prison, we are saying, Krishna, just make it a little more better that they give me a cot to lie down on and that I can be free and not be locked in one single room and all this sort of thing. So it's very similar to that. Actually, we still go and ask the Lord. When we ask the Lord, the thing is, it is not that we should go to the Lord only when something is serious. We should actually approach the Lord and say, please, my Lord, I am surrendered to you. Please guide me. Please make sure that whatever I do is something that I'm going to do as an offering to you. So, based on that, even say a small friendship with somebody. Somebody is calling something like we're getting to know. I'm getting to know Hari now. So, my prayer will be to the Lord, my Lord, please make sure that Hari and I get along very well, that each of us like each other. It is as simple as that, that we need these friendships with us. And then all the other devotees who are there participating, talking about your glory, my Lord, please make the right words come out of my mouth. After all, I'm only speaking about you, my Supreme. There is nobody else we can talk about. This is how a devotee thinks. And this is how a devotee should feel, that every little thing you need Krishna's help. You can never ever think, no, 99%. There was once we had a senior devotee. He was the president of Sydney's temple. He is now in Utah in the Charu Prabhu. I don't know if you heard of Charu Prabhu. And Charu Prabhu was there during the 40th anniversary of Radha Gopinath's anniversary in Sydney. At that time, we were all sitting down and discussing, and Charu Prabhu was giving a discourse, and we were listening to him. And then he said, we have to naturally depend 100% on Krishna. So at that time, I put up my hand and said, I remember a time when I was in Los Angeles City, where I was working inside a data center for my company. I was working for Fujifilm at that time, and I was in the data center. And because Sydney is late, it's much further even late for me there. It was midnight by the time I finished and I was trying to go back home. At that time, I was living in a temple in Culver City, so in Los Angeles. So I was trying to take a bus to go back, and I was going down the road. A man accosted me, was an African American person and very tall, and he elbowed me a little bit that way, and I just kept quiet. And then he said, "Brother, you've got a gun there." And I said, "What do you mean?" I looked. Actually, I had my chanting beads, and I had my hand inside my chanting beads, and only my index finger was sticking out. And this fellow looked at it, and he thought I was holding a gun inside that. I couldn't say anything. In the first place, I was shocked when such a tall man elbowed me like that. So I was just saying, Krishna, 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 what's going to happen next? And within a second, he looked at me and he said, "You're going to get there." And I kept quiet. And inside his mind, Krishna has been telling him things. He quietly walked away from me. And I quietly went away. I had my briefcase with my laptop and everything. And I went to the bus. There was still a bus going at that time. Quickly got into the bus, went on to University. I was just discussing about this very thing to Charu Prabhu. And he says, "Oh, Prabhu, what were you doing there in the middle of the night at 12 o'clock? You shouldn't have been there." I said, "Yes, I shouldn't have been there, but I'm working and I'm kind of stuck between the rock and a hard place. What do I do?" And anyway, I'm a devotee. The only thing I can do is keep chanting. And if something were to happen, I would just leave it to saying, this is what Krishna would have directed, what he wanted to happen to me. If that is what he wanted, that is Krishna's wish. So, and he said, "Yeah, but you should have been a bit careful." I said, "Yes, 99% shall we trust Krishna, and 1% shall I be very careful?" No. 100% we should trust Krishna. That 1% is a circumstance. And Krishna knows that circumstance very well. And we are his devotee. If we are not surrendered to him, who else will we go and seek? I mean, even if a policeman were to come and help me there, who is going to send that policeman? It's going to be Krishna who says, okay, I will come in the form of a policeman. I will look like a policeman to you, but I will be there. Or I will send one of my emissaries. I will send somebody from Vaikuntha, and he will look like a policeman, so that that guy who is, uh, going to be so tough will behave himself. So this is where we need to be 100% dependent on the Supreme Lord, 100%. And even that 1%, no, free will. If we have surrendered, where is that 1% or even a fraction of that 1%? We don't have. We have to depend on it. So these sort of little things happen, Mainly Krishna says, this is where I am. This is who I am. You're my devotee. See the relationship between us. I am the Lord and you're my devotee. And you're protected. So we can discuss this within devotees. We can't discuss this outside. People are just going to say, oh, there was coincidence, there was something else. No, but devotees know very well where we come from and what we go through and what we experience and how many of these things we experience, not me alone, but every one of us. Krishna is not just for one person, and he manifests himself in so many different forms simultaneously for all of us. All of us devotees, he is there for us. The whole world is struggling very hard to exist out of these miseries. But men do not know that without sanction of the Lord, no plan or no remedial measure can actually bring about the desired peace and tranquility without the sanction of the Lord. Again, this is just what we spoke about just now. Without the Lord's sanction, nothing ever happens. The remedial measure to cure a patient by medical treatment is useless if it is not sanctioned by the Lord. I remember once before that there was this grocery person, Indian grocery person of all the people. And he said, Prasannatma, I am not a holy person, I don't believe so much in God. I believe actually in the real doctor. The doctor is the one who is so learned, he can do everything. And I'm standing there and staring at him. My God, what is this guy talking? Even doctors go and bow to the Supreme Lord and say, my Lord, I'm going to do an operation today. Please be with me, guide me. This is my job. This is a job I'm doing as a service to you. Yet karosi, yet atinasi, yet gosi dadasi, yet. Can somebody help me there?
Yat tapasyasi.
Yet tapasya tat purushva madarpanam. So, whatever you eat, whatever offering you make, whatever austerities you do that as an offering to me. This is what Krishna says to Arjuna. And everything that we do has to be done as an offering to him. So, Srila Prabhupada says here, the remedial measure to cure a patient or medical treatment is useless if it is not sanctioned by the Lord. The doctor can give the wrong medicine. He can do the wrong thing. His hand can make a mistake and the whole process can fail. If Krishna's blessing is not there, if Krishna does not sanction that particular operation to go well, to cross the river or the ocean by a suitable boat is no remedial measure if it is not sanctioned by the Lord. Many of us take flights, and whenever I used to come and land in Los Angeles after 14 hours of flight, I used to tell people, I just crossed the ocean. If the Lord ever didn't allow this to happen, do you think that this machine could have come across and landed us safely down? No. If he decided, no, I don't want you to go there, and if we went against his thoughts, nothing will work. We should know for certain that the Lord is the ultimate sanctioning officer, and we must therefore dedicate our attempts to the mercy of the Lord for ultimate success or to get rid of the obstacles on the path of success. The Lord is all-pervading, all-powerful, omniscient, and omnipresent. He is the ultimate sanctioning agent of all good or bad effects. We should therefore learn to dedicate our activities under the mercy of the Lord and accept him either as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It does not matter what one is. One must dedicate everything in the service of the Lord. If one is a learned scholar, scientist, philosopher, poet, etc., then he should employ his learning to establish the supremacy of the Lord. One thing that pleases our Lord is spreading his name to all of humanity so that they can approach the Lord. It is not that the Lord wants his name to be glorified. He says, tell them to call my name. I have invested all my powers in my name. Just calling my name, just saying Krishna is enough. He is there. His power is there. His power is there. His energy is there immediately to save that person. And he loves that person who actually glorifies his name to the point that this other person realizes that he has to surrender himself to the Supreme Lord. At the end of the day, for any devotee, it is not trying to get out of this prison, this dukkalayam, asasvatam dukkalayam, that we are in temporary place of misery that we are in, that we have to get liberation. No. Devotees of the Lord are already liberated. The pure devotees of the Lord are already liberated. They are here only to do a function of glorifying the Supreme Lord and spreading his name for the benefit of all of mankind. And that mankind, when I say mankind, humans, are the only ones capable of comprehending at least this, comprehending the fact that there is a Supreme that is controlling everything. There is a Supreme that is in this life where they have a material life and they're aware of themselves and are aware of another life that they're going to go to at the end of this life. Whether that life is going to be coming back in another form, in one of the many forms, that species of life that you can come in, or the Lord sanctions that you go to a better place from here, that he prefers you to be there. Again, to continue to glorify his name for the benefit of all of his creations. We should therefore learn to dedicate our activities unto the mercy of the Lord and accept him either as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It does not matter what one is. One must dedicate everything in the service of the Lord. Try to study the energy of the Lord in every sphere of life. Do not decry him and try to become like him or take his position simply by fragmental accumulation of knowledge. Decrying very easily when something doesn't happen. Normal humans would go and, show their anger sometimes at the Lord, that they're upset. They will say, I was thinking that you're going to do this for me, but nothing happened. It actually became worse. Because Lord in his mercy knows what to give him, grant him or not to grant. And sometimes what he grants him is not what this person desires to have. In a very material sense. Because most of us in this life are very much materially minded, even though we think we want to reach spiritual levels. So do not decry him and try to become like him. You cannot become him. Never ever can you become him. We may be having some qualities, a dot, a sparkle of quality from him. That is godly. But we are not G-O-D in capital letters. That is him. If one is administrator, statesman, warrior, politician, etc., then one should try to establish the Lord's supremacy in statesmanship. Fight for the cause of the Lord as Arjuna did. So, what is basically said by Prabhupada here is glorify the Lord. Our only duty, our only job, our only work is to glorify the Lord. So, even in our work, wherever we get an opportunity, whatever we do, we should just say, my Lord, this is an offering to you. Please accept it. think always. It's a very long purpose, so I hope I can. There's very little more to go. I'll probably finish it in the next 5 minutes. Similarly, if one is a businessman, an industrialist, an agricultural exerter, then one should spend his hard-earned money for the cause of the Lord. Think always that the money which is accumulated is the wealth of the Lord. Wealth is considered to be the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and the Lord is Narayana, or the husband of Lakshmi. Try to engage Lakshmi in the service of Lord Narayana and be happy. You know, we all live in some reasonable house. Some of us live in maybe a decent house. Some of us, by Lord's mercy, have got a much bigger house. But at the end of the day, that house where we stay is not our house. That house is the property of the Supreme Lord. We are just a tenant in that place for a temporary period of time. We should realize this. So, whatever money we earn, whatever we have as a property, as accumulated wealth, everything in here should be considered to be useful for the Lord. So sometimes we put up somebody in our home who's a devotee. We accommodate them. Prabhupada actually said 50% of what one earns should actually go towards glorifying the Lord's name in whatever way you can do it. Be that, either doing something in his temple or doing an offering, doing a better place of worship for him. Spend money on prasadam to be handed over to people who can taste that prasadam. And with tasting that prasadam, even a person who is not actually positive towards the Lord will actually have a change of mind after having that prasadam. So this is something that we need to do, because all the wealth that is given to us is Lakshmi. And who else does Lakshmi serve but the Supreme Lord? This is what Prabhupada says. That Lakshmi should serve Vishnu. And that is what you should do. It is all for Vishnu that you should do. And he is only saying 50% of what your wealth or your earnings are to be put for that use. The best thing, after all, to get relief from all material activities and engage oneself completely is hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Hearing, just like how we are hearing now. And Hari said, your group itself is called Smaran. So Smaran is to actually understand, get the knowledge, and that you do by listening about the Supreme Lord. But in case of the absence of such an opportunity, one should try to engage in the service of the Lord, everything for which one has specific attraction, and that is the way of peace and prosperity. The word Samshuchitam in this stanza is also significant. Samshuchitam actually says, decided by the learned. So decided by the learned, right from writing Bhagavatam by none other than Vedavyas. And who is Vedavyas? He is actually a plenary expansion of the Lord himself. And here we were discussing what Narada was instructing to Sri Vedavyas. He was not very happy. After having done all the Bhagavatam, he was very despondent. He wasn't feeling ecstatic about the whole thing. And Naradji, when he came, he knew exactly what his problem was. He said, you've written wonderful. He's very poetic. Everything is as what it should be. You've got all the knowledge that has to be. But what you've not done is you've not glorified the Lord. You've not glorified the Supreme Lord to try and make people understand what is the real goal of life. The real goal of life is to actually serve the Supreme Lord, is to actually make the Supreme Lord happy. If anyone has to be happy, the Supreme Lord has to be happy. If the Lord is happy, the entire universe will be happy. Don't we remember when Krishna was visiting the Pandavas, and Durvasa Muni was actually going to come there before him. And Draupadi was actually supposed to have the Akshaya Patra ready and feed all the thousands, 10,000 disciples of uh, Durvasa Muni. And she had actually finished. The Akshaya Patra would not make um, any more prasadam. And she was so worried that she did not know what to do. And she has asked them to go and have a bath and come back. The moment they come back from the bath, all of them will be hungry. And Duryodhan very cleverly has sent him because he knows they can't provide 10,000 of his devotees with disciples with prasadam. So naturally, Durvasa Muni is a very angry person. They get very angry. What can happen? They will curse. He will curse the Pandavas. And Duryodhan says, if that curse were to happen, that's very good for me. So with this plan, he has sent, go, please go and see my cousins. They are there. They will be waiting to take care of you. Oh, go. Duryodhan is saying such good things. So Durvasa Muni goes. And Durvasa Muni says, I will have my bath and we will come back and have a good prasadam. Keep it ready. In this jungle, what are they going to do? And then Krishna, which she says, the moment she says, nothing can be done, all she closes her eyes and says, Govinda. The moment she says that, Krishna stands there. You called me, I've come. Pukar, call my name, I will be there. Krishna stands there, and immediately she says, Krishna, I have nothing to offer. But Krishna first jokes with her. He says, I am very hungry. Give me something to eat. She says, Krishna, you two are asking me like this. Ray, we are waiting for Durvasa Muni to come and curse us. And you too, Krishna, are saying you are hungry. What am I going to give you? But you have an Akshay Patra. But I have finished. There is nothing there. No. Bring me the Akshay Patra. So Draupadi goes and picks up the Akshay Patra and brings it to Krishna. Krishna has a look at it and he says, aha. And he says, here is one small bit of food that is there. Let me take it. And he takes that little thing that was actually stuck there and not very properly washed. It is still there. So he takes that little bit, puts it into his mouth, and he enjoys it. He enjoys it to the point that he says, this is so fulfilling. It was so tasty. This is Krishna. He can be satisfied even with that small grain if he wants to be satisfied. And he was satisfied. For the sake of Draupadi, Draupadi is very dear to him. So he gets satisfied. Now he says, I am satisfied. What about Durvasa Muni? Durvasa Muni is saying, I don't know what happened. I just had a bath. And I've come out and I'm feeling full. My stomach is full. I don't want to eat anything. What about you? Disciple, this one, while one disciple, 10,000 says the same thing. Yes. Great sage, we are all, teacher, we are full. How can we now go and stand there and not eat? To look very awkward. Let us run away from here. So they all run away, leaving Draupadi and the Pandavas in peace. Why? Because Krishna was satisfied. So says here, whatever we do, we have to do it to actually satisfy the Supreme Lord. And then what else is there to be satisfied after that? One should not think for a moment that the realization of Narada was childish. Imagination only. It is not like that. It is so realized by the expert and erudite scholars, and that is the real import of the word samshuchita. So with that, we finish the purport of text 32. The other texts also say, I'll just read the four of them out so that we can finish with them. 33, O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease which was caused by the very same thing? I was talking about how sometimes milk foods can be a problem, and that same milk changed into curd actually cures the problem also. So that is the purport here. And coming to text 34, thus when all a man's activities are dedicated to the service of the Lord, those very activities which causes perpetual bondage become the destroyer of the tree of work. When all men's activities, sorry, I don't get this line very well. Thus, when all a man's activities are dedicated to the service of the Lord, those very activities which caused his perpetual bondage become the destroyer of tree of work. So again, explaining that this bondage to work is a very big thing. It becomes like a very big banyan tree. And the only way to cut down that banyan tree of bondage is to actually give all the work that we do. Again, the sloka that we spoke from Bhagavad Gita. Whatever we do, whatever offering we make, do that as an offering to the Lord. And that way, all the fruitive work is taken off. And it is sanctified to the point that it is not karma anymore. Text 35. Whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service to the Lord. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. So, if anything one has to do, he has to do the yoga of Bhakti Yoga. That is called devotional service. Devotional service to the Lord is actually the highway, whereas knowledge and karma are the side roads, and one should not try to deviate. Knowledge and karma, again, knowledge of what? Knowledge of any of the mundane things. The main knowledge that we have is about our Supreme Lord, and we enjoy those particular topics. Again, karma is something that you don't want to be in. You want to be in a position of a karma, which is not to have either good karma or bad karma. And that will be a topic on itself, which we can discuss another day. And 36, the translation. While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his name, and his qualities. So, Lord is himself given us the order. He has passed it down through the parampara to us. So if we just follow that, that alone is enough. And that allows us to remember his name and his pastimes, his qualities, and these things are the only ones that are going to keep us in good stead. So I will finish with that. We will have any questions or any realizations that you would have.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. We would like to open it out to any comments, reflections, questions for Prabhu. If you'd like to ask a question, please unmute yourself and you may ask, or you may do the raise hand feature.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class and explaining the purpose so nicely. Prabhuji, I had a question. So in the middle of the class, you mentioned about being surrendered to Krishna, and you gave an example of the policeman can come and Krishna might be in the form of policeman to help us out, and so we even though we are taking help from the like the entities in the material world, but still that is that can be thought of as that okay, this help has been sent by Krishna, so that way we can be fully surrendered to Krishna, right?
Yes.
So Prabhuji, my question is that how is do we always think this way, that anything that comes good or bad, or like for example now the COVID-19 came, and now the vaccines are there are a lot of disputes that should we take, should we not take. Now those who are saying we should not take because we have to depend on Krishna will protect us, why do we have to depend on vaccines and stuff like that? And we can also put this argument that no, this vaccine has been probably produced by Krishna also, and it is for us to save. And I was also remembering this one story that I heard in one devotee's class, Kalakantha Prabhu. He gave this example that one time one man was in the middle of flood, and then he was saying, I'm gonna be surrendered to Krishna. Krishna will save me. Then in the flood, some
Yeah, I know that story. Yes.
yeah, exactly. So how do we tell that what help is sent by Krishna, which help should we take, which is not directly seen as Krishna's help?
Yeah. So it's very very profound question. I mean, how do we know which one is sanctioned by Krishna and which one is not sanctioned by Krishna? That is something. It's $1 million question. In fact, how do we really know that Krishna has said this? Does he come and stand there? Is there an Asriri voice like what Kamsa heard, that the eighth child will be your end? These are all, even Kamsa was so lucky to get something like that to be told to him. But what about we normal people when we are devotees? But we, I would say, when we say we, I expect that every one of us
Mhm.
is a devotee of the Lord. And devotee of Lord, of course, many of us may be new, some of us might have been there for a little while. And each one of us has come in different times to feel about the Lord. But every one of us, once yes, actually bowed down to the Supreme Lord. This thing called surrendering is only heard when somebody, some uh, devotee, say a pure devotee, tells us about the Lord, saying surrendering is most important. And when somebody like Srila Prabhupada says that, drop everything and surrender. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, drop all sorts of religion and just surrender unto me. Tvam sarva papesu mokshyami masu cha. When the Lord says that in the Bhagavad Gita, it's so important that we need to pay attention to that and say, in what way can I surrender to the Lord? So one way of surrendering to the Lord, and it takes time for this surrender. It's not that it can happen overnight. Probably from some great soul, probably it can. Everything is one moment of a flash when something hits them and says, okay, I have now realized that Lord is everything. Let me go to his temple, fall dandavad to him and say, take care of my life, my Lord. Whatever I do, something is going to come as a problem. I have see padam, wherever I walk, there is a problem. How will I, the only way to do that is by realizing. Only way to do that is by realizing that we are not under control of anything, whether for ourselves, our families, our parents, our children. We are not under control. But if we have given ourselves with a pure heart, with a pure mind to the Lord and said, take care of me, my Supreme Lord, I am a useless person. See, for example, when we go to our Guru Maharaj, we may be having PhDs and masters in this or that and everything. But when we go to Guru Maharaj and listen to him, what are we asked to do? Whatever Guru Maharaj says, behave like a fool in front of him and listen quietly. Even if you may be a PhD, still say, oh, is that what you said, Guru Maharaj? Don't question him. If we can do that to our Guru Maharaj, who is a representative of the Lord, we should then take that everything that the Lord will do for us will be the right thing. 100% will be the right thing. For example, when he sent that person, when the flood was happening, he was sending a helicopter or a ship or whatever, boat, and people try and say, come, jump into my boat and come away. And the person says, no, God, Krishna will take care of me. You don't have to take care of me. So this is where there's a mistake. If something like that is happening, say, okay, Krishna must have sent you. I'll come. If it is not right, Krishna will actually tackle that also. You can get into the boat and a crocodile can come and hit the thing from the water, on the river. Something else could happen. Some other boat can come and hit it. So many things can happen. But anything that happens, Take it as the will of Krishna. What's going to happen to you at the final end? What is going to really worst thing that can happen to you? You will lose your body. You will leave this body. But your eternal soul is going to go as Krishna decides to the next one. If you can think of that in that way, get ourselves detached from all these material thoughts and material things that obstruct us. This is what we need to do. We need to surrender. So if we have not surrendered just now in this moment, it is best to go to the deity right away right now, and say, my Lord, I've heard about your surrendering. Here I am, I'm giving myself to you. Whatever good or bad that may come, never mind. I accept it as your will. That is a devotee. That is a surrendered devotee who is not worried what is going to happen or not going to happen. As things come, he'll say, this is Krishna's will. Somebody has come. This is Krishna's will. Somebody is giving me prasadam. I will take it. If Krishna wants to stop something, who can stop him? If Krishna wants to give you something, who can stop him? Nobody can stop him. The belief that there is Krishna always, that is also something we have to develop in our minds. That 100%, Omar, I told you that 1%, you should have been careful, Prabhu,
Yes.
in Los Angeles City. And I said, which 1% is that which I can decide? He said that I should have told my office, no, I cannot go. I cannot be here after 5 o'clock in the evening. You mean to say that 5 o'clock in the evening, another guy would not have come and hit me in front of everybody? If that were to happen to me, no, it will happen. But Krishna is there. He says, even you being there till 12 o'clock is sanctioned by me. That is why I kept you there. Even that you went to Los Angeles all the way from Sydney is because I granted you that you go there. I could have taken you in midway itself. I could have pushed the flight into the water. But every moment, every second of your life, I expand myself to each one of you, not just Prasannatma, also to Naveen Krishna Prabhu, also to Hari Prabhu, to everyone, to Shivam Prabhu, Neil Prabhu. Every one of us is there. That is Krishna. That is the omniscient presence of the Lord. He's present for every one of us. Would that answer your question, Roji?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So at the end, we just have to know that everything that is happening is coming from Krishna. It has to be connected to Krishna. So that is I think that makes sense. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. That was a wonderful question, actually, but something that many would be having in their mind. But Krishna made you ask that. Again, Krishna has given you the thought to ask such a question for the benefit of everyone else of his devotees.
Hare Krishna. So I think Ramesh Prabhu has a question. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Prasannatma Prabhu, amazing discourse. Thank you very much. Hope you are able to hear, right, Hari?
Yes, very well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Amazing discourse. So even that last question and the response which you have given was really amazing. And just a couple of quick comments, Prabhu. One is thank you so much. Like I know it's past midnight there, and I'm really amazed by your dedication. Like your devotion is that itself is the purport today. I think that should be our purport today. And Prabhu, I just wanted to add one comment to your last thing. So I am a big fan of Purandara Dasa. I don't know, you must have heard the saint from South India.
Yes.
So in one of the songs, he says, Adadalla Olade Agitu, Sridhara Seve Madalukana Sampath Agitu. That means whatever has happened for good. So the only asset we have in our life is whatever service we do to the Lord.
Yes.
So he kind of summarizes that in 2 sentences. So just wanted to add that. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
When we leave this life and go to the next life, the Lord is here The Lord is the next life also. Demigods are actually this life. But when we go to the other side, before we go to the next life, the only person for us is the Lord. Krishna is only there. So we're not without him anytime. Whether we are in this body, whether in the mid portion when we have no body, or the subtle body only, and going to the other body where he says, this is according to karma, you go there. Where he can change that if he wishes. Say, no, go. I want you to talk about me in that place. Go to that planet and talk about this. Here is the knowledge. I'll give you the knowledge also what you should speak. Now, we are nobody. We are nobody. Anything coming out of this mouth is him. He gives that little bit of intelligence. Says, speak about this. That is where we have to say, my Lord, if I'm carrying something from here, I go without anything. Like Alexander said, look at my hands, they are empty. There is nothing in my hand. All the kingdoms that I won, nothing is there. And here I am being carried by my surgeons, my doctors, because they couldn't help me. I'm going empty handed. But what would he have carried to the other side? Would he have become the next life as somebody in Africa or somewhere, where the mother is not having any strength, the child is like a, skin and bones? Is that what is destined? All that depends on what we do in this life. That is why this life as a human being is so important. We've realized it. And what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we wasting our time? Or are we checking? Let us do the right thing. Let us not get angry with people. Let us be calm as much as possible. Let us do the right things. Let us keep calling his name always. Because that is the only thing which will help us.
Hare Krishna. I had a little comment too. I was thinking of the same thing that Ramesh Prabhu is my father, by the way, Prabhu. So,
oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So you're Kannadigas, are you?
Yes.
I knew from your name that, around the 60s, people were either called Prakash or Ramesh or Suresh. So, am I correct?
Yes, right. You're from Karnataka background. So
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing that His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, he recommended something to us that we end our day saying these two verses from the last two verses from Ishopanishad. Vayur anilam amritam atedam basmantam shariram om kratosmara kritam smara kratosmara kritam smara. That let this body be burnt to ashes. Let my air be merged in the totality of air. And then, but please, Lord, remember my sacrifices. You're the ultimate beneficiary per se. And then please remember, kratosmara, the word smara is used so many times. Remember all that I have done for you. And then in the 18th verse, this is one that you can do right before you're going to bed. You can end your day with these two verses. Agne naya supata raye asman vivasvani deva vayunani vidvan Yudhyod asmaj juhuranam eno bhuyishtam te nama uktim vidhema. It says, my Lord, you're as powerful as fire. And now I offer my obeisances, falling on the ground at your feet. Please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I've done in the past, because Krishna knows everything you've done in the past, please free me from the reactions to my past sins, so there's no hindrance to my further progress tomorrow. So in that way, we can end our day. So I was just thinking of that very similar thing that Ramesh Prabhu was saying. Does anybody else have any other comments or anything else for Prabhu?
Yes, Naveen Kishan Prabhu. So thank you very much. You made a point about example in Australia about the fire. 1 year there was a fire, next year is a flood. And a lot of people are concerned, especially the animal support groups around the world. There were a lot of videos circulated at that time. These kangaroos, some animals burnt alive. It is so pathetic to see, painful to see. A lot of people are coming. At the same time, if you see from different angle, yes, it's a compassion. and then that should not happen, because when man meddle with the nature, then nature will give the consequences. So nobody is exempted. What goes around comes around. So with that background, it is so. I mean, now we are practicing devotion, so we could able to see, but we were in the same boat one time in the past. I don't know about you. I'm not a born Brahmin, so uh, I've done in the past. So now, if you see from one angle, inside the home, we kill, cook, and eat, which is happening in the slaughterhouse. Outside the house, something happening with, oh my God, like compassion. The mindset is the same person is a different angle.
Yeah.
This is very, like, it's very profound in one sense. The same people who are praying for that from outside, but inside they may have a cheeseburger at home. They're talking and eating. So the conception of that is so ironic at the same time. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you when you use that point, so would you like to elaborate on that? Like, at one point, people switch from inside to outside the thought process.
Yeah.
That Prabhupada is calling out also in the purport. It's very
Very
interesting
common
concept.
thing that happens. Very common thing. Happens almost even to us in a way. When we go to the temple, for example, when we are inside the temple hall and the deities are open, we are in a very different mood. We are afraid. Lord is there. We don't say anything. We're not supposed to say anything wrong to anybody else. Also, the mind keeps looking and saying, I don't like that person. So, in a Western world, people swear very easily. Somehow, the Indian bodies don't swear as much unless they are in a particular realm of themselves. They avoid the swearing. But Western countries, like, you hear a lot of swearing very easily, and it is very common now for such swearing to happen. And it's also a fashion for such swearing to happen. The swear words are actually fashionable words. That if you didn't use that, you're not a normal man. You're not a normal person. So that's how the world has become. Yes, when we come out of the temple, then immediately we become as if we are we are we are out of the clutches or the hold of the Lord or something like that. That we can speak anything or do anything. This is something that is in the mind. The mind is not steady. The mind wavers, and the mind has all these things floating in it. That one portion of the mind has a lot of good in it, but there is also a portion of the mind that's how they say. If Srila Prabhupada describes that today's this yuga, the divine and the demoniac are both in one person's mind. So we have that divine and demoniac traveling with us everywhere where we go, to the point that the person who is supposedly a pure Brahmin, for example, and at home, and he follows everything, he gets even his Brahmin priest coming home, and they do elaborate offering to the Lord, all according to Brahminical custom. But when he goes out, he suddenly becomes a westernized person. He's not a Brahmin anymore. It is inside his coat. He still has a string, the thread, but he doesn't behave like one. He thinks he has to go with his boss and go and eat the slaughtered meat, not just of mutton or meat, as Srila Prabhupada would say, but beef, mother cow. And without batting an eyelid, this Brahmin would eat it. But how then is he a Brahmin anymore? That is, he is cheating himself. He is deluded that he doesn't know what he is doing. Now, if he goes back home, how is he going to clean himself? Just go and have a shower and clean himself with soap just for the externals? Or is he going to sip Achamidam and take that spirited water and drink it with the Lord's name? Is he going to purify himself? In fact, it is one of the offenses to actually purify yourself in the name of the Lord, or bank on the name of the Lord to go and do a lot of wrong things and then take Achamidam and behave like a Brahmana again. No, no, he has completely lost it. It's just like this. When we go and get married, we go and get married in a temple or a church or a mosque or something like that. But when we get divorced, do we go to the Lord and say, Lord, you married me, but now actually divorce me, please? No, you go to the court to an ordinary man, to a judge, human being, and he says, okay, you're not married anymore. Then what happened to Krishna's word that he got you married? You see how we are hypocritical. In whatever we do and think, we are hypocritical. So when we go out, we try to go and eat the meat thinking it's packaged meat, somebody has killed for me. No. If you partake in that, that somebody else has done it for you, then you're as or equally or even more responsible. In fact, a Brahmana who does that has got a very severe punishment rather than a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. In fact, a Shudra will be never punished at all because he's allowed to do that. But here, he is supposed to be a Brahmana and he has done that. It is a crime in front of the Lord. In fact, if you take it that way, that these things are important in a sense, they have their own, the regulation that we have to follow. You know, it just can't be done. You're just not that Varna anymore, you're not following it. And reaction will come. Reaction will come. Only thing our Lord, Supreme Lord, He has got so many things juggling about you. In fact, they say the Prarabdha Karma is such a huge bag from so many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes. The Prarabdha Karma is there. And the Lord out of His mercy says, little bit, yeah, this much I give for this life. But you have that big bag. You have to go through that karma. Reaction will come. In fact, somebody once told me, I was working at work, oh, you go very often to America on work and come back. You know, customs, you were able to bring 2 bottles. He wants duty-free liquor. I said, no, but I don't drink liquor, nor would I buy that and give it to you because I feel that what is not good for me, unfortunately, I cannot give it to you. It's not that when somebody comes and gives us a present, there are 2 liquor bottles, and we are a Hare Krishna devotee, and we want drink. Such a nice bottle, it's worth about $500. Why don't I go and give it to my boss? Let him have it because he drinks. I'll give it to him. He'll give me a promotion next time because I'm giving him $500 worth of some, whiskey or something. No. In fact, you have to go and throw it in the bin. It doesn't even have value, to be honest. Just like Prabhu talked about that, touchstone found in the garbage bin, that the thief coming and asking him says, if this man is throwing away such a beautiful thing, he must be having something even much more valuable that he's hiding from me. We should treat it like that garbage. If that stone can be thrown, why can't we throw a bottle of liquor which is not good for us? Which Krishna doesn't sanction. He doesn't ever allow it. Of the 4 regulative principles, you can't drink liquor. Liquor is one of the things that you should never ever go near to. In fact, you're not even allowed to have coffee or even tea or even chocolates. Why liquor of all the things? So we have to teach them. We have to make them aware. I know people who, in my circles, who would do this and would go and, in a social atmosphere, they will go and eat whatever they are given without batting an eyelid. But it is there. Because of you eating it, because of you drinking it, somebody is producing it. If you didn't do it, he won't be in the business. He will have to find some other business to go and do. In fact, that way you are actually going to save him and take him to Krishna. That is our purpose. That is why the Lord has sent us. That is why He gave us the knowledge to become His devotee. And He says, now you become a devotee, I also know you're capable of going and telling that other man whom I love very much, go and tell him something about me. Change him. Bring him to me. That's what the Lord loves. And the moment you do that, you are elevated in the Lord's, close circle. He says, my dearest so and so, he's done this for me. And he holds you by hand. In fact, I tell this also to people. There are people who also eat meat at home. They cook and eat it. And many have, of course, changed. And I tell them sometimes, all those vessels that you had, please throw them out. Please buy brand new vessels. Don't contaminate those vessels now that you've become vegetarian. Make sure you buy new ones because somebody is going to come. Who's going to come? Krishna will come to your home. Come in some form. Somebody's form will come. And you have to give him. How will Krishna come to your home if you're doing all the sin of killing animals? How will he come to your home? Don't you want him to come to your home? And I see behind there are pictures of the Lord in your homes. Because your home belongs to the Lord. You're allowed to stay there as long as you're there. He's given shelter over the head. And we should realize this. This realization, the surrendering is very important. In fact, even if somebody is not good to us, not nice to us, is quarreling with us, is upsetting us, we should say, Krishna, I must have done something silly today that these people are doing this to me. Forgive me, my Lord, if I have done something without my knowledge. Please allow them to stop, making my life miserable. And Krishna will make sure that thing goes away. Like that, just like that, he will make it go. Because we are surrendered. We are begging him, begging him. In the jail where I am, this is happening, my Lord. This warden is whacking me. Just allow him not to whack me till you take me away from the jail. That we can ask the Lord. That you are allowed to ask. Because you're only calling his name every day, every minute. Every minute, Krishna. Chant whenever you can chant. Don't worry about the deeds. Chant. Your brain itself will be chanting. There was some lady, we heard, I don't know which country, Australia, I think, or American, maybe American. It seems they were operating on her and she was chanting. Whole time she was only chanting the Bhagavad Gita shlokas.
It's in Gujarat. I saw
Gujarat.
that video.
Yeah, yeah. Would that help, that answer that I gave you? Is it
Yes,
reasonable?
Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prasannatma Prabhu. We will pause that reading for Srimad Bhagavatam for this week. We would like to give a big thank you to Prasannatma Prabhu for staying up late night. And you can see his, Prabhu has a very deep-rooted addiction to Srimad Bhagavatam and preaching his glories to all over the world. And due to his addiction, he is traveled all the way here through Zoom to speak to us even at late at night at the sacrifice of his own time, his own sleep. He's coming and speaking to us. So you see how deep rooted this affection and this addiction is. So thank you so much, Prasannatma Prabhu. We love to have you back again soon to speak to Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
We'll just end with Vaishnava pranams. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Bye.
Let's just say three big Hari Bols for Prasannatma Prabhu. Everybody can unmute themselves.
Haribo.
Haribo!
Haribo.
Haribo!
Haribo.
Haribo!
Haribo.
Thank you, Prasannatma Prabhu. Hare Krishna.